Hey guys, welcome to YouTube Study. My name is Piyush and in today's video we'll be discussing on more important organizations. Part 3, Part 1 and Part 2 already consist of many important organizations that are necessary for your UPSC and all government exams. So link is provided down in the description. Do watch the video. So let's begin. So at the beginning of this video, I want to ask a question from you guys. As you know, 23rd March 1931 is known as Martyrs' Day of three great leaders, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev. These three great leaders were executed by the British government for the charge of murder on a British officer, Saunders. And you should know that these three leaders have played a very important role in Indian independence. You have to tell the name of the jail where he held a 104-day hunger strike. And as a fact, this strike was for all the Indian prisoners who were actually provided with food of a very low quality and a very less quantity. So it was low in quality and less in quantity as compared to the British prisoners. So you should know the name of the jail where this incident took place. So you should answer this question below in the comment box and I hope you guys answer it correct. So first agreement that I'm going to discuss in this video is ASHGABAT agreement. ASHGABAT, you should know that it is capital of Turkmenistan and I will show you in the map that where it lies, but before it you should know what this basic agreement is based on. Agreement was established of an international transport and transit corridor between government of Iran, Oman, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. It was signed back in 25 April 2011 in a place named as Ashgabat, which is capital of Turkmenistan. So this agreement actually is a trade agreement between these countries which was signed in 2011. Except Iran, all these countries, all the remaining countries were a part of Soviet Union by 1991. Till 1991 they were part of Soviet Union. So it was quite easy to deal with these countries. But after the breaking of Soviet Union into many smaller parts, it's now really difficult for these countries to cope up with the trade. So they made this basic agreement, and I'll show you the location. What is the importance of this agreement and why it's very important? So we see that Ashgabat agreement was a facilitation of transmit and transportation of goods between Central Asia and the Persian Gulf. So Persian Gulf have included in this particular agreement, and Oman is a part of Persian Gulf. I have just made a mistake. Oman was not a part of Soviet Union, so all the countries were part except Iran and Oman. So what is the objective of this agreement? That was obviously to enhance the trade relations and over the Eurasian region. So we should show you that where is the Eurasian region in the next slide. I just show you here. This is the Eurasian region. That is this all region comes under the Eurasian region, and this also comes under the Eurasian plate. So basically it is called Eurasian on the basis of plate, and this is the Indian plate. Just take care of the plates as per a geographical context is viewed. So this is Oman. As I told you, this is a part of Persian Gulf. So Persian Gulf is also included in there, and we can see that the north-south transport corridor here, this yellow line you can see, but you should know that it is very important as per the Asian countries, because this area of Eurasian Gulf, this all the parts of the Eurasian Gulf, and you can see all the colored countries are a part of this agreement, and it's very easy for these countries to connect with each other as they are building new infrastructure, new railway connect lines without any taxes, without any extra burden for the traders to deal within these countries. So this is very important. So we can I just tell you here that there's a lot of connectivity being established since 2011 till now, and we see that there's a north-south transport corridor. I just show you in the this slide. Yes, this. So here you can see this yellow line is the north-south transport corridor, and this was established via this vision only. So we see that it starts from Mumbai and go on to two diversions of the Chabahar port and the Bandar Abbas port in Iran, and it just goes through Tehran with Baku and up to Europe. Even if one can reach Istanbul from India, so it's very easy for India to reach Istanbul through this route, and from Istanbul it can have an all over access to. It doesn't need to go through all the way through the Cape of Good Hope and the western side of it. So it takes up much more time, and this is a more easier way to trade. This north south transport corridor say that there is ship and railway lines, Trans-Caspian Railway, and we have many railways we have been connecting from India to Russia, Iran, Europe, and Central Asia, and all kind of transports are actually permitted in this particular connectivity. So Eurasian Railway connectivity, you can see it's Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan. TAT. You should just remember it as TAT. In 2013, this railway line was formed, and Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, Georgia, and Turkey transport corridor. And the railway train was also involved in this. And you can see that this is Afghanistan, okay, this is Turkmenistan, and you can actually see the railway lines. This red line is the railway line. So this is Turkey, and Turkey is connected to Iran and Turkmenistan also. You can see Turkmenistan, Iran, and Turkey. So these railway lines were also established back. This was a part of this very project only, this ASHGABAT agreement project only. And even the Hajikak and Chabas railway line, which actually connect the Chabas fort to the Hajikak region in Afghanistan. And that's very important because as per if we see for India, that India has invested a very good and a very heavy amount in this particular port, Chabas port. So it can say that you can say that it's the Indian port in Iran, because this investment is a very important investment. We see that here we can have a directly rail line to Afghanistan, so that makes it very easy for trade. So why I'm discussing for India and how India and why India is very interested in this trade agreement, I'll just show you why. Now see, here the map of India is, and you can see this is Pakistan and this is China. Okay, you can see that here are the great Himalayan borders, so it's very difficult to go through here for trade. And this is Pakistan, and Pakistan India's relation are not good at all. So Pakistan will never let India to pass through its land and through its borders to get some trade connectivities with Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and so it is impossible for India to connect to the Central Asia. So thank God, we can say thank God to this particular agreement, that now India can actually connect from Mumbai to Chabar port first, because it's the Indian port in Iran. So we see that it can easily be connected from Mumbai to Chabar port, and from this port already all the connection and infrastructure is provided via this agreement in 2013 and 14 respectively. So it's very easy for Indians to get trade relation and trade link with all these countries, right? And even Oman is included, so that's something, a big bonus on this deal. India's entry into Ashgabat agreement comes a month after inauguration of the first phase of Shahid Beheshti terminal in Chabas port. So we say that okay, first phase was already been invented, and as I told you that Chabar Iran already has invested such a big amount in Chabar's port, that is very important, and that becomes a very important stuffs as per trade is included, and trade is everything for a country, so it's quite obvious. Even Kazakhstan is also ready to invest a high price for oil, and we can say that Afghanistan is really interested in investment in India, so that too also is a very much big bonus to India. We say that connecting to Afghanistan via Sabar has essential for India, and we see that because Afghanistan has already shipped 80% of its cargo traffic from Pakistan's Karachi port to Iran Bandar Abbas and Chabahar port. So that is very important because Bandar Abbas and Chabahar port are the two main ports that are provided by Iran, and that's very official provision. So there goes a very great advantage as per India's aspect is included. So we have a lot much more trading components like uranium, copper, titanium, ferroalloys, yellow phosphorus, iron ore, roll metal, propane, butane, zinc, cooking coal, and etc. and etc. So that's a very important trade agreement, and these items can be traded very easily at a very low cost because the cost of transportation is reduced. Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership RCEP, which includes 16 basic countries, including 10 from ASEAN and 6 other countries, that is New Zealand, Australia, China, India, Japan, and South Korea. Now, more information on this particular partnership, and we see that it's not yet formed, but the negotiations are on. So the start of this organization, the vision of this organization start from the first FTA, that is ASEAN FTA, or the ASEAN's free trade agreement. For those who don't know the meaning of free trade agreement, you should know that a free trade agreement is agreement between two or more countries in which the extra taxes that are required to trade from one country to another are nil. And this is actually a very comprehensive thought, this agreement in itself. And you can see like European Union to have a system that each country is like states in a country. For example, if a trader wants to trade from Punjab, he's from Punjab and he wants to trade in Gujarat. So he don't need to pay any additional taxes for trading, and this happens in European Union. All the members of European Union need not to pay any extra burden taxes to trade in another country. And FTA is also similar to that. So FTA between two countries is an agreement which allows the traders in both the countries to trade with equal rights and without any extra burden taxes. And ASEAN FTA is in itself FTA between all the 10 ASEAN countries, that is Southeastern Asian countries. So with this, I'm going to tell you right now that when in East Asian Summit, it was decided that there should be an FTA which includes 6 major countries and the ASEAN countries itself. So this happened first time in Phnom Penh, Cambodia in 20th November 2012. That's important and can be asked in your any exam. But you should know that 44th ASEAN Economic Ministerial meeting was the first meeting in which all the 16 countries agreed to this partnership. And till now yet it is not quite confirmed because many negotiations are going on till now also. And one of the very popular negotiations is between India and Japan on the basis of IP means intellectual property. So I don't know what will happen. So most probably this issue will be resolved because the relation between the two countries are quite good. So it will be resolved. RCEP in itself is viewed as an alternative to a very popular FTA known as Trans-Pacific Partnership. And why this is viewed, I just tell you, because TPP is on the verge of extinction almost. With end of Obama's presidency in US, decline of this partnership was started because Trump, the new leader, he doesn't support this organization and he directly denies to support FTA. And because the partners in this were not so full of potential, so as the policy of Mr. Trump is, that is America first, so it went against the policy of America first. And we get to know another reason that even China and India were not part of TPP. That is these both countries are referred as the having the most potential to deal with any free trade agreement. So this is main motto why every country wants to join RCEP, and why this is referred as the alternative to the one of the biggest FTAs. So we say that 50% of the population, 3.4 billion, is almost round off the 50% of the population of the whole globe is going to be a part of this FTA, and the total trade that is going to be is 40% of the global trade, and that's quite huge because these bunch of countries is going to be a part of this trade. And we also see that the GDP is going to be quite high, that is 17 trillion US dollars, and that's a very high amount. So here's what I was saying. You can see that the parties which were the part of TPP, oh, you can always see the countries. You can see that the countries that were part of this TPP are not very developed to conduct an FTA. Yet they were quite developed. They were having no potential, but not that kind of potential that the states like US going to invest in it. And we see that Canada and US and almost all the countries of North America plus Peru and Chile of South America were part of TPP. In fact, these countries are common. These pink color countries are common in both, that are going to be part of RCEP and that were the part of TPP. So I can see that the most potentialful countries were not part of TPP, that is China and India. This is the main advantage that RCEP will be having over TPP, and why RCEP is having a upper hand over TPP. You can just remember this diagram as an easy diagram, so that all the countries that you should learn should be in your tips. And with this diagram there are three basic FTAs through which you can actually learn. All the ASEAN countries are in RCEP plus India, Korea and China, plus you can see some common countries which were common in TPP and in RCEP: Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and even you can see that Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore, some countries of ASEAN were also common. And if we get in some more deeper facts, we get to know that RCEP in itself is a product of ASEAN FTA with Australia and New Zealand. So two main countries than which the ASEAN members were with FTP were Australia, that is AUS I'm writing here, and New Zealand. Not only with these two countries, we see that China and India also joined. Even countries like Japan and South Korea also joined. This formed this idea of creating an FTP between all these countries. Even I've already discussed that 50% of the globe, and in fact 30% of the global GDP is included in the countries which are part of this FTA. Even they say that negotiations have been in an objective to achieve a modern, comprehensive, high quality and mutually beneficial economic agreement that will cover trade in goods, trade in services, investment, economic, technical cooperation, intellectual property. And I already told you that intellectual property is concept of debate between India and Japan, and even the dispute settlements and other issues are also concerned with this FTA. Also, the greater countries like Australia are seeking a quite interest in RCEP because China and India are both quite potential as country, and even the history is a proof that Australia imports a lot of coal from China, as China is the largest coal producer in the world. So Australia imports a lot of coal from China, so this will also help this country for growing and for a quite cheaper coal imports from China. RCEP 2017 is a quite big event because it was the first time that the head of the states attend this. So that was a 20th RCEP rounds of negotiation that happened on 10th September 2017. It was on the sidelines of ASEAN Summit, that is in Pasay city of Philippines. And I should say the greatest thing that happened in this date was that the head of the states attended this meeting. For example, Narendra Modi ji was representing our country in this summit, and this was the first time that the head of the states were interacting each other. Thus, you can actually see that many great leaders from their respective countries were there to attend this summit. Now, this was a great, product of good product of negotiations, which actually have created a lot and lot of hopes for this FTA. And it is said that it will go okay till now. So India is pushing for greater liberalization and some service sector, especially easier in professionals to RCEP member countries. And this is what the main two negotiations are taking place, and one I already discussed. So I have a task for you all guys. you have to search for this AANZFTA, that means ASEAN Australian New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. You have to research on it and do write in a comment box about this. So next that I'm going to discuss is SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. The countries here are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. A brief information that I'm going to tell you right now is that this idea of regional cooperation was held up in South Asia for the first moted in April 1980. The foreign secretaries of 7 countries met for the first time in Colombo in 1981. The very next year, the Committee of the Whole, which met in Colombo in 81, identified 5 board areas for regional cooperation and obviously for the mutual interest also. So the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation was established with its charter was formally approved on 8th December 1985 with head of state government of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. So it was at the first time only that all the members were accepted. So Afghanistan here was an additional member who became the in the 14th SAARC summit, which was held in Delhi. So that can be asked that when did Afghanistan took part in SAARC? So this was back in Delhi. So until 2009, China, Japan, Republic of Korea, USA, Iran, Mauritius, Australia, Myanmar, European Union have joined SAARC as observers. So at that time, if you talk of about 2007, at that time also it was referred to as a quite big organization because such big countries were actually joining it as an observer. And if I tell you, observers are those countries whose work is almost nil in the organization, but the motive of keeping them observers is to give them an outlook of how the organization actually works. So if I give you some more facts, you should know SAARC is quite below the ground, because this is ground and this is SAARC, because it's going to finish, it's almost finished. And the latest SAARC summit was cancelled due to the Uri attack in India by Pakistani militants, and this was the main reason. And the main reason why the SAARC is getting disturbed is the relationship between the countries. In fact, I'll just discuss some more factors because it's important. Why it's important? Because the previous year UPSC has already asked the similar question on NAM, non-aligned movement. Why non-aligned movement you think is fallen below the ground? And this can be asked for SAARC this year. So it's very important. So you should take care of how you actually write an answer for this particular organization. So that's what the main thing is, because SAARC provides a platform for the people of South Asia to work together in spirit of friendship, trust, and understanding, which is actually, this is the main motto and which is missing nowadays. So if the main motto misses, it's obviously going to deplete it. It aimed to promote the welfare of people of the South Asia and to improve their quality of life through accelerated economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region. Even the secretariat is in Kathmandu, and that is obviously Nepal. And this gas secretariat in itself is an headquarter to SAARC. So during the 15th summit, the head of state or the government emphasized the importance of maintaining the momentum through clear links of country between the work already underway and the future activities are even not even recognized well right nowadays. And we get to know that SAARC is actually needing more and more attention of these countries, and by time these focus on this organization is getting less. So what were the key issues that were actually selected in this area were the collective regional effort to accelerate economic growth, social progress, and cultural development, to emphasize on key issues like telecommunication, energy, climate change, transport, poverty elevation, your science and technology, trade, education, food security, and tourism was one of the main context on which it used to work. So cooperation SAARC is based on 5 principles of sovereign equality, the territorial integrity, political independence, non-interference in internal affairs of member state, And in the next slide I'm going to show you the map, and then I will explain that why this organization is going down and is almost up to the extent point today. Here we can see the map of member countries, right? Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Right side of this slide I can see a more clearer view of the boundaries. Okay, we're gonna take some reference from my left side of this map, and we see here that the relations between India and Pakistan are already depleted, and it's a fact that in this year, in the previous year, that is 2017, the meeting of SAARC was cancelled due to the Uri attacks, as I told you in the previous slide that this was cancelled. Uri sector is lies somewhat here in this region, right, and it's near to the border region. Here there was some kind of insurgency of Pakistani militants fired over the sleeping soldiers of Indian army. Due to this event, the meeting was cancelled. There's no mutual benefit between them. Even I just told you the previous slides that India has to get to signed more different agreements to get in contact with the trade with these Central Asian countries via Iran, because Pakistan is going to act as an obstacle for the trade. So if it's acting as an obstacle for trade, so how could it act as a friend in an organization? That's a very obvious point. And due to the conflict between two major partners, SAARC is right now on the depletion end. And even if we take a look at Nepal and Bhutan, these are two small countries who actually wants some kind of attention from India, but India in itself is growing at a very high pace due to its competition with his neighbor, that is China. It's actually not allowing these two countries to give a more better investment over India, because they are economically weak, and obviously India is inviting more bigger economies to invest in it. So that is also the reason. In more deeper analysis, we see that the small countries are not been investing such a big amount, because we too are quite hesitated in that. Even Bangladesh is included in the same case, and Sri Lanka and Indian relations are also not very good. So all the countries, you can see that are in some small amount participated already in a dispute with India, or with dispute amongst themselves. So we see that these disputes are going on, and therefore so the motto of the this organization is already defeated. So if the motto is defeated, the organization will definitely going to be get defeated. So here also you can write these points in your UPSC exam. If somewhat question on based of SAARC comes on to you, like in 2017, as I told you, it was NAM. They targeted NAM, non-aligned movement. They can also target SAARC this year. So it's important for you to know. Write these points. I've already explained them. That okay, promoting the welfare of people South Asia, while nearly all countries are actually being not able to rise with their respective standards of living. And as I told you, that the countries in fact are such a small economies that they can't even invest in each other to make a better country. Even India, I can say it's obviously a superpower, but it will obviously be a little behave as a little reluctant when it comes to investment from these small countries. And the next thing that you need to know is that its 19th SAARC summit in 2018 is going to be hosted in Sri Lanka. So do take care of this also. And the next organization is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. The upper language is used in this logo is Chinese, and the second language is the Russian language. And you should know that these both language are the respective official language of this organization. Now it was on the June 15th of 2001 when leaders from Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyz Republic, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, they gather up at one place, that is Shanghai, which is in China, and they decide to get into an organization which actually deals with the military fields in the border area. The agreement on the mutual reduction of armed forces on the border area amongst themselves. I will just show you the map, and we just analyze that why actually these are the border related deals, because all the countries are attached to themselves. So all the countries are, we can say, neighbors amongst themselves. So these two documents were laid down a mechanism of mutual trust in military sphere in the border area, and we say that it was actually concerned with a more military based organization. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a permanent intergovernmental international organization and that is too at a very high level. You can actually see here the map. That is a little old map where we can see that India and Pakistan both are acting as an observer state. I already explained what is observer state. I'll just tell you that what are dialogue partners. Dialogue partners are partner that is a state between a member state and an observer state. Dialogue partner is okay when it comes to your mutual interest. You can actually take part in any conference, whereas observer state is only to observe the movement and to learn that how the organization works. Now on 8th and 9th June 2017, in a place called Astana is in Kazakhstan, India and the leaders of SCO met there, and they decided that India and Pakistan was even the part at that time are going to be the member of SCO. Now see how ironical it goes. You see, I already read that the border dispute is to be minimized in this organization, and India and Pakistan, that is the countries in which the world's most dangerous border lies, are now going to become a part of such organization which is actually aimed for keeping peace between the countries at the border sites. Let's say that now 8 members are full members of SCO. We can read the name: India, Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and 4 countries named Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, and Mongolia are acting as an observer state, whereas 6 countries, that is Azerbaijan, Armenia, Cambodia, Nepal, Turkey, and Sri Lanka, are acting as a dialogue partners in this organization. We say that some very precious objects, that is Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India pipeline, the Iran, Pakistan, India pipeline, and CASA, Central Asia, South Asia Asian projects that include 1,000 electricity transmission projects of all were blocked, and due to some Pakistan reluctancy, and that are going to get a little push through this organization. There is a hope, but everybody knows the behavior of Pakistan, so we just can hope that everything goes right. Also, in the sphere of security, this organization has decided to form a RAT, that is Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure. In 2005, this decision was taken in Tashkent, and here the pressure will be created on China, who is actually protecting Masood from being declared as a global terrorist. So here this will also work. That's also in a good direction for India. So the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in 2018 will be held in coastal city of Qingdao in East China, Shandong province. So you got to remember the name of the city here. So that's the last slide of this video, and this is the bonus slide for you all guys. This is on the very famous city of United States, Alaska, which is the 49th state of US out of 50th. It's the second latest state. The latest state is the 50th state of Hawaii, and it was included in 1959. But before it has a very different kind of history. In 1867, the territory was dubbed Swords Folly after US Secretary of State William Swords, who arranged to purchase the land from Russia. Now, it was in late 1700s when this territory was under Russia, and it was in around 1867 when Russia sold this whole land for $7.2 million, and that was 2 cents per acre of land was sold to US. Now this was sold to US because at that time Russia was needy of this money, and at that time Russia used to think that the land is useless for them. But this was around 1890s when you should know that stampede of prospectors and settlers were there when they get to know that this land is actually rich in gold, and they find out gold in this land. We get to know that Alaska is bounded by the Besford Sea and Arctic Ocean in the north, and I just show you some more geographical structures in it. So here we get to know that here this state is Alaska, and you can just remember 2 to 3 things that are very important. That is the Bering Sea. Now here passes the international time zone. It's somewhat like this. It passes from here in between US and Russia, and here we get to see that this strait is known as the Bering Strait, that is also important. It is asked many times in exams about the being state and about the importance of the being state. The importance is obviously this, that the international time zone passes through the being strait, and this is Alaska. Brute force sea is also important. So thank you for watching this video, and I want to say sorry for being too late to upload this video. Due to some technical factors, I was not able to upload this video. So from now I will try that each week I will upload the video for you guys. So please subscribe and share this video, as it gives me a lot more motivation to make more lectures. If you like the video, do like it, and do tell if any kind of lag behind, or having any kind of lag in this video you find. You should just comment it in the comment box. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.